Does anyone not have hunger cues? I guess I've always thought this was normal, but I kind of eat when I feel like it, and I don't get hunger cues since the meds.
Oh, I have not felt hunger for 3 years.
Yep.
I mean, I
Unless I get wasted.
I feel like I get those cues and I just ignore it.
It's true. Look, every one of these people say
I
the
don't
same thing.
I don't know.
You.
I'm fucking eat.
Well, like, I guess then it's not like cues like I need to fucking eat. I'll just like kind of get it and then ignore it. And then be like, fuck it, I'm gonna go eat. After being hungry for like 2 or 3 hours and playing games for like 8.
Is it weird to say my thyroid cancer helped with this? I had to get my thyroid removed, and taking the thyroid replacement pills makes it so that occasionally I get hungry when I take the pill in the morning. But yeah, other than that, no hunger.
Yeah, I don't get hungry either, and then it sucks with the memory problem because it's like I'm not hungry, and then I don't remember if I've ate. So then people are asking me, "Did you eat today?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Like, "Are you hungry?" No, but I don't know if I've ate today, so I don't know if that's important at the moment. I just know I don't know.
Yeah. I ate. Well, what did you eat? I don't know, but I know I had to brush my teeth.
I wouldn't remember what, even if I didn't have epilepsy, I wouldn't remember what I had to eat.
Right? Have you ever done
remember what happened? I'm like, no, I just ate.
Do you remember what you ate today?
No.
I wasn't that great about eating before, so yeah, I'm really terrible now.
What do they have you taking?
What's that?
What are you taking?
Oh gosh. Oh, I'm sorry. Just a minute. My dog. Sorry. My Chewini is deciding to misbehave. I take Epidiolex. I take Dilantin. I take Fycompa. I take Klonopin and escalazepam.
I only take Lamictal 200 daily, twice daily.
I did Lamictal. I have taken, combinations of about a dozen drugs over 5 years now, but I'm very medication resistant, so I just eventually my body just overcomes.
When was your last seizure?
Kidney stone one?
Joe, when was my last seizure? 4 days ago.
My last one was April 11th, and before that, it was January 15th.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, that's what I used to kind of, it would be about 2 to 3 months before I would have a big grand mal or tonic-colonic, whatever. But I've had some odd focal awareness ones too that were really strange.
Yeah, I've had some focal unaware where I missed a bus stop. I was like, my stop is the next one. And by the time I paid attention, I was 2 stops past that. And I was just like, okay, I know what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
It can be dangerous, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, man. Ever took Keppra?
Yep, of course. That was what the first epileptologist put me on. But as soon as my real one came back from vacation, he said he didn't consider Keppra an actual seizure medication. And so he started me on heaven knows what. Honestly, I've been on Lamictal, what is it?
Lamotrigine.
Yep. And Vimpat. I should be able to remember these a little better probably, but I don't. Do you remember any of the other ones?
There's something out of New Jersey.
Something out of New Jersey.
It was a new thing.
Yeah, I don't know. No. They gave me back my license, and 2 days later, I had like one of the biggest grand mals I've had.
Oh, oxcarbazepine.
Oh, oxcarbazepine. I was on that for quite a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit
How'd you do on that?
tired as hell.
In 20 years, I've taken 3: Dilantin, and then Keppra, and now Lamictal.
Okay.
A kidney stone drug.
Oh, yeah.
Have you taken it?
Which one? Lamictal?
No, not Lamictal. There's one that like gives you like can give you like really high susceptibility to kidney stones.
I
know, but that does sound like something we try to do.
And I think that might be lamotrigine.
No, it's one.
I was just at the doctor this morning actually for my gallstones, but I think that has more to do with my weight going up and down so quickly because of my thyroid situation. But they can't say for sure. But yeah, gallstones and the typical thing is to remove them by surgery, but I've had a million surgeries and I have another one on the agenda, so I'm trying to convince them to give me another option because don't want to add another surgery to the list.
My husband said they can do a sonic surgery and they can break it up with sound. And he would actually know because he's had to have it done with kidney stones before, like more than once.
Interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. So look into that. See if maybe you can find somebody near you who does that. I would imagine it would be much less painful to pass them that way.
Definitely. Because I do not want another surgery. I've had enough of them.
You know, you could be having a reaction to the anesthesia too. Whenever they do anesthesia with me, I end up having cluster seizures for like a week. It's never good.
Yeah, it's like we can count on it, right?
Yeah. I mean, the next time I have to have a dental cleaning, I'm going to have to tell them, look, I don't care how much you hate to not do, you're just not going to have to, I'll have to deal with the pain and you're just going to have to do it because I'm not going to deal with the consequences.
Yeah, I have to be sedated. Yeah, I have to be sedated to get my teeth cleaned. And and now it's like I have a fusion in my neck that's moving around. It's like, there's no way I'm going in to get my teeth cleaned. Okay. And my daughter was laughing and she's like, no, seriously, think about it. You get those bones vibrating, one that isn't in the right place and leaning against my spinal cord. That is too close to my brain. And I don't want to do that. I'll floss twice a day. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, my thyroid surgery was easy peasy. So if I got gallstones removed, it would probably be fine. But I just don't want to risk it after how bad my brain surgery was. It would just stress me out. So I don't want to do it.
Yeah. How's your memory, everyone?
What did you say?
Right.
What?
What was the
Where am I? Whose house is this?
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Where are we?
What time is it?
I actually really most of the time don't know. If my kids come to me and they're like, it's midnight, Mom, I'm like, it is? I had no idea. Honestly.
I can't stay up late anymore. It fucking is awful.
Right.
Oh,
I don't want to.
I have a mandated bedtime of 10 o'clock. So I am told by my doctors that I have to be an old ass person and go to bed at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock's perfect. I wish I would actually
I wish I could sleep at 10 o'clock is my problem.
Right. I have problems falling asleep. I was just reading something that says,
too.
what do you guys...
So I have my sleep podcast, and then I wake up at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, I'm jealous. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Do you guys?
I know my husband's jealous too. He would like it if I would go to sleep.
Do you
You
guys?
guys get like really, really fatigue problems? Like sometimes it's hard getting out of bed?
Yeah.
It's hard staying awake through the day.
Oh yeah.
Right, that too. It's hard staying awake. It's like if I'm doing something, I can stay up. But once I sit down, it's...
Forget it. Yep.
I like
it's like, either stand back up and keep going, or you're going to go to sleep.
I mean, I used to take a nap every single day. I'm starting to finally get to the point where I can stay up throughout the day. But yeah, I mean, I am recovering from brain surgery, so used to be a nap every day, but I'm starting to get there.
Yeah. You got to give yourself time.
Yeah.
You
need to make naps more socially acceptable.
Right.
I think they are in some countries. You know,
it's like I started napping. And oh my god, it's just everything is so much better. Like, holy fuck.
It's true.
The rest of this day is gonna go by so much. Like the weekend, it's like this day is gonna go by so much better. I can go do stuff at night.
Yeah, just because you took a nap. Exactly.
Yeah, I'll still go to bed at like a normal time, like my normal time, but like it's just you feel so much better. Like, why the fuck wasn't I doing this before?
You guys ever...
why was I working 50 hours a week?
Right. You guys ever use anything to help support memory loss? Someone told me about
have 3 different notebooks now that I just write everything down in, so that's something. But
I carry a notebook in my bag always.
The cubicle looks like the scenes from Memento.
Cubicle?
So much, like, yeah, it's just so much shit all around the walls. Like, it's like I look like a insane person, but I'm gonna forget this if I don't have it written up right in front of me.
Oh, I use my Google Calendar and Apple Notes. And
I use Apple Notes for seizure logs.
No.
Up until possibly last night, it was like over a year. So I'm pissed with that, but
yeah, I have so much stuff on there. Folders, all kinds of stuff. I use it for everything from shopping lists to seizure logs. And yeah, my daughter and I can both access that. And it's like, okay, she can put notes in, I can put notes in. I probably have a half a dozen of those little index card size spiral notebooks. And I forget which one I'm writing what in. So when I realized I did that, I opened up Apple Notes and said, okay, I'm going to put all this together, create a new notebook that I carry in my pocket all the time anyway. So yeah, that works for me because it's just, the technology has made stuff like that easier. And I'm a boomer, guys. So I'm proud to say it that, I'm glad I can use these things on my phone. It makes it so much easier because there's things that, I had to bring up in memory that I pretty much had locked down throughout my life. And, once that's up, you want to put it in a journal, you lose that journal. And it's like, wait a minute. And somebody says, oh, I remember when that happened. And I'll remember that I remembered it and wrote it down somewhere, but I can't find where I wrote it down. So having it all in this one place, all I have to do is scroll through my index and I will find random thoughts or random memories from seizures, things like that, all in one notebook on my phone.
Have you ever had, like, I read something someone said, have you ever had a bright idea and then have a seizure and forget about it?
Shit.
Well, how would you know? You're not going to remember.
Because the bright idea is still there. Trust me.
Had to start in the middle of the night. I wind up because I have my 3 notebooks now. And then in the middle of the night, I have to grab my phone and put something in the notes app to write down in my notebook when I wake up because I know I'm not going to remember it. So I'm just writing everything down all over the place because I can't remember anything ever.
Yeah, that's why I put it in one place. That's what I was doing. And that alone, when I realized I was doing that, it was like, oh man. And I literally piled all these notebooks and I had to do it again. And it's like, oh, these random thoughts are in random notebooks and there's absolutely no organization.
Yeah.
I realized, wait, that's what I'm doing to my brain. No, I gotta stop.
I don't know. There a good 90% of the shit that just comes into my mind is just stupid, dumb shit.
Random shit.
Yeah, it's just like completely like useless.
Yeah.
Like I'll just be sitting at work thinking of like a fucking cartoon or like I don't know. I like Shane Gillis' podcast a lot, and then I'll just think of clips from his podcast, and I'll just like start laughing at work.
Oh, I think of dumb shit too. My undergrad degree is in writing and publishing. In the middle of my nap today, came up with a dedication for my non-existent book that I'm working on. Like, I just come up with stupid shit all the time, but what else you gonna do?
Yeah.
That's some pretty cool, stupid shit, though.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, I've got some like funny, stupid shit, but I don't think this thought needs to be saved. I think it can just go. I think we can just push this one off. It's not crucial to anything that can happen in the future.
Right.
One of my funny situations where I actually didn't get hurt. I was waiting for the train, and as it was approaching, I stepped back so I don't get hit, of course. And I blacked out, I guess. And when I came to, I was taking a selfie, and the train was pulling off. And I was just trying to imagine, like, how am I taking a selfie? And these guys are watching me. I don't know how that went about, but yeah, train was gone. It was like the lights were on, but no one was home.
Did you get that selfie?
That's what someone else asked. No, I didn't. I just pulled my phone.
That would have been epic.
I don't even think the screen wasn't even on.
My epilepsy came about literally right when COVID started, so I haven't been around the trains since this whole mess started, but it never occurred to me that once I get back around the trains, I have to worry about having a seizure by the train when it's coming. Did not ever occur to me.
Wow, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing about having seizures, having epilepsy, and being single is like you have to depend on family now. You have to depend on someone to take you everywhere to do everything.
Yeah.
But there's not always someone that's going to take me everywhere when I need to go. So I got a Uber, train, bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I've always done the train. I haven't driven. I don't drive, which is part of why I'm here in Boston, because I needed a place to be able to get around.
Transport, yeah.
Which is why being physically disabled now is such bullshit. Although Boston is nice because Boston has a system for disabled people. It's called the Ride, but it is not convenient. It's some bullshit. Like the timing is always all over the place, so it's not great if you actually need to be somewhere on any kind of schedule. So I don't love that.
I can't tell my mom I had another seizure. I had a seizure at work last night. I took my meds and I still had a seizure. It was my first since 2020. I can't tell my mom because she has always blamed herself for me and my sister's epilepsy. First, she thought my sister's epilepsy was because of the Gardasil vaccine, so I never got mine. Then at 14, now 25, I started having grand mal seizures. I've had a total of 7 and has been controlled through medication. I'm lucky now, but I had another seizure last week and my husband saw me take my meds and I can't tell my mom. She believes the genes are from her side of the family and blames herself. I don't know what to do. I have an appointment with my neurologist to see if anything needs to be adjusted. I'm taking care of myself, but I can't tell my mom. I forget to add my sister grew out of her epilepsy, but mine's remains. We were diagnosed with juvenile myoclonic epilepsy, both of us. I don't know what I'm trying to get out of this. What do you think? I think I tell mom.
I mean, I don't mean to be a whiny bitch, but having a mom who cares that much is amazing to me. I don't have a mom who cares at all. So yeah, I would tell mom.
My mom caused mine, so like she really did. So I'm not telling her anything. Yeah. No.
Yeah, I mean, just gotta tell the madre.
I haven't told my mom about my epilepsy because I don't talk to my mom anymore. So
yeah,
tell the mom.
I'm
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Someone said, how long did it take you to figure out the best medication for your seizures? I guess I'm still having them, so I'm not sure if it's the best yet. I've only taken 3, and I've heard of people taking upward of 8 and 10.
Yeah, I'm still working on it, so I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I've been on Dilantin for 8 years, then Keppra for around 5 to 6, and been on Lamictal for the past 7 to 8, or maybe 6, somewhere around there.
I was
20 years, 3 medications.
I was doing perfectly. And then I lowered the dosages on the lamotrigine, and things haven't been super smooth. But I really don't want to go back up on the dosages of it because I'm just tired of being exhausted all the time.
I know what you mean. Anybody have any bad experiences with clorbasm? Never had it.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say that I also took X-Copri, and I was looking at clobazam was the next one down, and I don't think I've taken that one.
Yeah, no, I take that. Yeah, I couldn't take it every day, but having it as a rescue med is helpful.
Clobazam.
Yeah, it's Onfi.
Oh, that's what it's Onfi. Okay.
Are we talking clobazam as in Onfi, the benzo?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I couldn't take it every day though, even the lowest dose. So, I told my epileptologist, I'd rather just go back on my cannabis therapy you know, instead of doing that every day, and then just use the clobazam as a rescue med. So, which is what I had to do earlier today, and I'm feeling the zombie coming back, which is why I don't take it. It literally made me unsafe because I'm alone most of the time. So, you know, I would say, you know, it depends. But in my experience, I was just too dopey. I was like, yeah, you know, okay, this is a safe zone. All right. I'm a hippie from the 70s. Okay. So been there, done that.
Yeah,
I'd rather drop acid. I'm not kidding. Okay.
I'm okay with not acid.
Sorry, guys. Love
I'm
you.
only 49, but I definitely would too.
Yeah, right. That's the feeling. And, you know, I did have a neurologist at one point where I could actually talk to him like this because he is part of that, you know, unlimited sciences and studying how psychedelics affect pain and mental health and epilepsy especially. And it's like, yo, next time I go into status, just get some of that. What is that? Lysothergic, Cynthia, LSD. Go get Lucy. And, you know, because my friends have done it to me. So I can say I know that can stop status. Oh. So, you know, it's like when you're out in the middle of nowhere and the helicopter ain't coming fast enough. Yeah. That's the hippie in me. But you know, the clobazam, it really is good for me when I know I've got clusters starting, like when I feel that second, you know, it's like the downshift in the gears and it's like, oh shoot. So that's when I'll take it. But taking it every day, no. Mm-mm. But then I get this, I'll get that roller coaster ride through the day. And I'm like, oh man.
Has anyone tried, I can't remember the official name. It's like Nasolim or something like that.
Nasilium. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
for the 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some. I never took it.
Oh my gosh, we had to refill that thing 4 times a year.
Oh, yeah. I probably more than that. My poor husband. Let's see, how many of you had to give me in a cluster, like one night?
Well,
2.
I don't want to give it to you anymore.
Yeah, the doctor actually was like, yeah,
2 shots or 2 canisters. Yeah, but 2 shots or 2 canisters.
2 shots.
Okay,
one night, but because if the doctor told him not to do any more than that, because then alongside of that, he's also doing the rescue pills too.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
But if I'm still going, then generally it means ER.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What's the longest you went without a seizure?
Year.
Yeah, I was like a year apart at the beginning, and now I'm like a week apart.
Yeah.
Because they say the cyst growing is making them worse. So that's why the second surgery is so soon, which is great.
Yeah, welcome back.
Hey, welcome back.
Thank you.
I was just reading something. People keep asking, do you think it's the meds or the seizures? I keep thinking it's the meds, to be honest.
That is the worst part, or?
That's messing with our memory, it says.
Yeah, for memory, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the meds.
Meds.
Yeah.
My husband says meds.
Yeah.
Although I do remember before I was on a lot of meds that if I had a bunch of seizures, I would have terrible, terrible memory for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If not erasing entire bits of the past.
Also,
I forgot about
that. Sometimes I get night sweats. You guys get that?
Oh God.
Yeah, but I
menopause,
don't know if it's I have hyperhidrosis too, so I don't know if they're related.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I've got sleep apnea, I think. Pretty sure.
I have sleep apnea too.
Yeah.
My wife woke me up in the middle of the night, like, you're not breathing. I was like, oh, what? No, I'm fine. I'm coming back to sleep. I'm like, no, you're doing it again.
Oh.
Fine, I'll stay up.
I'm not allowed to sleep on my back anymore. I don't know if it's because of the seizure I had when I was on my back or what, but apparently at some point my lips were turning blue and I wasn't breathing right, and yeah, now I'm not allowed to sleep on my back.
Yeah,
I've always been a side sleeper.
That's how we found out about mine.
Yeah.
I stopped breathing, and I was foaming, and he had to turn me over before I would start breathing again. Still had to call, 911.
Yeah.
Do you guys know anyone that's gonna call 911 every time?
No.
Not every time, but we used to a lot.
I'm saying, do you know someone that's gonna call every time they see you have one?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
That's why
everyone I know.
Same reason we use my Nazilium so fast. I tell my doctor that my daughter's using it. I'm not using it. My daughter's using it on me when I can't say no.
Right. Yeah.
I'm terrified to have one in public in general, honestly, because anyone who sees will call 911, and it's like, please don't.
Yeah.
I don't need that. Like, even just in the hospital, like I was there for an MRI and had one in the waiting room.
Oh,
and
God.
everyone lost their mind.
Right.
Like, and it's like my wife was sitting there and was like, y'all, epilepsy is a thing. Like, calm down. There were like in an instant there were a million doctors losing their minds over it, and it's like, could you chill, please? And I didn't get to have my MRI because they all rushed me to and to the ER, and it's like, y'all, I don't need this. I'm fine. Like, it's so stupid. And meanwhile, my neurologists say I don't even have to go to the ER for clusters anymore because they're standard for me. Like, it's so frustrating the way people who don't know about epilepsy can be.
Yeah, it's like most doctors are literally just like, yeah, all they can do most of the time is confirm with you, yeah, you had a seizure.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing they can do.
Exactly. Like, my neurology team comes
like,
down and they're like, yeah, it's
like
the same as usual. Like,
nothing that can be done immediately unless you're having like the ones that are going past 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's me. That's why I usually end up going to the hospital.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I've gone as long as 45 minutes. Well, after Nasalum and after, rescue pills, and he's had to call an ambulance, or he's had to take me. And that's and because of the first one that I had, they right from the start said, you have an extremely high risk of SUDEP.
Yeah.
Don't fool around. This is really a big deal. You can stop breathing anytime you have one, so try not to do it. It's scary. My husband doesn't like to leave me alone with the kids, because then, what are they going to do? Even though they're teenagers, what are they going to do?
Right, but it's still scary, man. I hate to I know it's personal, but if you don't mind my asking, what kind of epilepsy were you diagnosed with?
My original diagnosis was unexplained adult uncontrolled epilepsy. And finally, after having in hospital EEGs, like where I was there, and they took the medicine and seized and they watched everything. Right. And I've had 2 of those, and then I've had 3 of the EEGs at home where you take a camera with you and everything.
Oh yeah, the Cyclops.
I don't even know how many MRIs, but finally they found one specialist who found the exact, they knew where it was coming from, but they didn't know why.
He figured it out. Focal. Okay.
It's right here. And they knew where it was coming from, but they didn't know why. But he said that it seems like my mother probably threw me into a cast iron crib when I was less than 6 weeks old, and it bashed in the back of my head, because it's actually, that part of my brain never actually grew. It's actually indented in, and so they know that there was an actual injury, and she's the only one who was around. And for some reason, my dad's dog wouldn't let her anywhere near me after a certain week.
Good dog.
Yeah, but she made him get rid of the dog. He would stand up over my crib if I cried instead of letting her touch me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But I was wondering if you had a diagnosis, because yours sounds just like mine. And my epilepsy did start from damage from head injuries. I same kind of thing. That's why I asked. I'm like, oh yes, that is the, and my neurologist said that this is just that syndrome that you get from a head injury. And
yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't show up.
Yeah, I honestly thought, oh, well, it's all the car accidents I've been in, or all the times like I, hit my head on a wall because something was going on or whatever. But no,
not or it was all that. Yeah. And these are those, when they say, oh, this might develop into something. Well, okay, it did. And that's exactly the same story. Wow.
Well, she never told anybody or took me to the doctor or did anything. Right. And I had some childhood seizures too. I'm pretty much 100% certain on that. And my doctor is too, but they weren't, constant or consistent. And because she didn't really seek treatment or, ask what the heck's going on, then nothing went on until there was all of the AC went out in the ice cream shop that I managed, and I was an ice cream cake decorator, and the heaters, the freezers were like 130 degrees, So, and then there was the fire from.
Yeah, quick question.
What's that?
Is anyone here being real?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Being real. Man,
does that not sound real?
I would hope so.
Honestly, okay, so
you don't want to hear
Northern California, the fires were happening, and we had to open the front and back doors of the ice cream shop, and we were breathing in all of the stuff from the fires. The sky was red for days, it was so hot, and I worked over 50 hours a week, every week, and so I was like, a week like that. And I came home and my husband said I wasn't making sense, that I wasn't talking right. And so he told me to go to bed. So I did. And then I had this basically SUDEP. I stopped breathing in the middle of the night. And he woke up and turned me on my side. And my daughter had to call 911 while he tried to get me to breathe again. I'm 100% being real. Why in the world would I ever make that up?
Yeah.
That's completely why in the hell.
I've been on mute this whole time, and then I don't know. I guess heard.
It's scary.
No, for real, honestly.
It's been a great 10 years. It's been awesome. I've loved having this happen for 10 years of my life. It's been so good.
I'm grateful you guys haven't. The stories that women have, especially younger women when we're trying to isolate what's called catamenial epilepsy. And these girls are having these rages when they're going through their PMS and collapsing. And oh, they're the drama queens. No, they're having seizures, honey. And it's hard because so many focal epilepsies can look like or be labeled as a mental health display. Yeah. And that happens to women over and over, which is exactly why it took 4 decades for me to get treatment. My family didn't want to confront it, so I went without treatment. My ex-husband was abusive, so he took advantage of it. So I didn't get treatment. And then the doctors, the gaslighting, and it wasn't until I dropped and went into status at work. I came in that day and I didn't have my coffee. And my coworker said, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, no, I'm not feeling right." And 20 minutes later, I was in an ambulance. Yeah. That's what it took for me to get a diagnosis.
People just don't understand or want to believe other people's stories, and people who haven't been through difficult situations don't understand things like that. And so it's easy for them to just write it off and say that it's not possible and that things are made up. And so, yeah.
Even this week is literally just show me fuck, there's so much other shit that's happened to other people that I have never had.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And and this is where, I've been an advocate for cannabis for decades. And, being that I am a patient and I have epilepsy and I'm seeing this happen, not only in the epilepsy community, but any chronic illness, we're being marginalized. And somehow we need to get together and stand up. But this happens too often where even the doctors are the ones not understanding us. Absolutely. More and more. I've been named, people know me when I walk in the office because doctors that I've left have either resigned, retired, or they've been revoked because they've been reported. I've known my diagnosis for decades. So you can't tell me it's psychogenic. You deny treatment, I'm calling the state because I need their help. Not because I reported you, but because you denied treatment. So let's just see where the fire started and see if we can put it out. But when doctors are gaslighting individuals, especially women, this is what we go through, guys. And, apart from those that I know that have, like Reese, you have a physical diagnosis. I didn't. Many of us didn't. And I have probably every single psychiatric diagnosis in my record with absolutely no supported documentation. And it was all epilepsy. So, yeah, I get it.
I was reading something that says, how do you tell people?
I mean, just tell them.
Before or after the seizure?
I just kind of tell them.
It's like, well,
I mean,
I have circuitry errors in my control panel.
Yeah, a person says, I haven't told anyone at my job and I haven't had any seizures in 4 months or any at work. Should I tell anyone or should I keep going to work?
That one kind of got exposed to me. So,
I know.
You have seizures.
There you go.
Without really my want, but I don't know. It was always hard because it's. I never try to like say it because I'm like, okay, I don't want this to fuck with my chances of being hired.
Yep.
But
I don't meet a hell of a lot of new people because I stay home and watch TV mostly, but
what you watching lately?
the new Leverage Redemption, so into that. I'm watching the stupid show Fire Country. Love that.
Heard of that. Heard it's good though.
It is. It's bad good, you know? Anyway, but people just how do I even say it? Even paramedics don't believe you. Like you say, "Oh, I've got epilepsy. That's why I had a seizure." Even paramedics think you're lying and you're on drugs.
That's what you took, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What'd you take?
I know someone who
What'd you take? What'd you take?
Impact, pregabalin. No. What illicit? No, I didn't do my shrooms today.
No.
Yeah,
no.
Exactly.
I've heard someone say they gave him Narcan because they thought he was overdosing.
Yep.
That's my biggest fear.
I've had it. Yep, they did it.
I told the cop that I had a seizure after I like crashed. I don't know if they believed me or. I at least told them they picked up on it.
That's what happened to me actually.
Okay.
When I was sort of in between my diagnosis, trying to figure out, I had crashed my car while I was driving. Well, I shouldn't say crashed. I actually got kind of lucky. I was stopped at a red light, and my foot came off the brake, and I kind of just rear-ended somebody very, very like lightly, and they must have saw me having the seizure like behind the steering wheel, and the cops and the firemen and the EMT shows up. So the cops automatically thought that I was like a drunk driver, and like they were very nasty and curt. And then the EMT was like, you see, like he's wearing like a bracelet, right? So like he's not drunk. Like something happened to this guy. You know what I mean? So I was very fortunate that I had a good EMT or good EMTs and firemen who were aware of what was going on, as opposed to automatic assumption that I was drunk or on drugs or whatever the case may be, right? So
yeah.
I just floored into a tree.
Yeah, I mean, to go back to the other question about telling people, like I can understand everybody's reasoning as to, not wanting to share, what we have going on in our life, but I think like, it's a serious medical condition, and if you're going to be around people who care about you, or even if you're meeting new people, like I'm very open and honest about it. I'm not embarrassed of it. And if that's not something you can handle, then that's not something I don't need to be around you. Like,
I like
think,
friends. I don't mind saying like, then it's like, yeah, I got epilepsy.
Yeah, I mean, and the same thing with my friends.
Yeah, well, that's
We even joke about it. You know what I mean? Like, even like my friends and I, it's just I mean, obviously, it's a serious affliction, right? And it can cause, significant harm and even death to some degree. But I kind of you gotta kind of have some levity about it, like with the people that I care about. Like we joke about stuff, and I don't take it that seriously. But for new people that I meet, or even at work, like, I mean, it's different. I mean, people looking for work, I can understand. I mean, I've been with my job for 20 years, so it's like, at this point in time, I don't really have much to hide. But for me personally, like to feel comfortable, like I want to tell people. Because if they see me having something or something's happening to me, it's not something out of the clear blue sky. They understand, okay, well, he's an epileptic, he's having a session, and I always tell people, like, I'm fortunate to the point where I don't go into convulsions, I don't lose consciousness, but it can happen. It certainly can happen, no matter what. And to let people know that, like, just make sure I'm comfortable, make sure I'm on my side. If it lasts more than 2.5 to 3 minutes, then you call 911, right? I want because it's for my safety as well too, right? So, um, So yeah, I mean, I'm not embarrassed about it, but I do understand and I do empathize with people who do feel that way, and I get it. But for me personally, like I'm a single father, I have two little kids, right? My safety and my, you know, and how I am is more important than anything else. And if someone's not able to handle that, then I don't want to be around you. It's just that simple. You know what I mean? So.
Right. I feel like not telling people sometimes puts me in a bad position, and it puts
Yes.
them in an even worse position to be traumatized by it. But then it puts
100%.
me in a bad position for I'm not even
100%.
able to being helped because no one knows.
There needs to be a certain level of, you know, I mean, from these discussions and whatnot, I think we're all very empathetic people in general, right? But there needs to be a certain level of selfishness, especially when it comes to your own safety and your own health, right?
Yeah.
And, you know,
That.
even like, you know, like I said, I'm divorced and I've been dating, and, you know, I'm very open and honest. I've been very fortunate that nobody has ever thought of it as an issue. But for myself, if that's not something you can accept or understand, then, you know, I get it, and and I'm okay with that, but I have to look out for my own self as well, right? So that's my take on it.
Right.
I'm gonna pop out in a second for dinner, but I've been wanting to ask my public policy self. I hope you don't find this offensive, Pookie, but I've been wanting to ask you, do you have any thoughts about the fact that your race has an effect also on things that epilepsy is an issue with? I know you said that you've found yourself like walking into people's houses and things
You
like
guys still
that.
here?
Yeah.
Did I lose connection?
Did I?
You hear
Can
it,
you
man? I hear
still
you.
hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So how is that? How do you feel about that, Pookie? Like, is there anything that you think those two things?
I think
Think about
my
those two
culture,
things?
just my culture. I think there needs to be way more um, awareness for the situation. No one really knows much about it at all. In in most situations, no one knows nothing. Um, yeah. Does that kind of answer? I'm not sure. I'm not in
Yeah,
too many
no, I
big
was
social
just wondering,
crowds to
like,
know.
what I feel like it's just there's so much that needs to happen in terms of policy and just awareness in general about culture. And so I'm wondering, like, we need to spread awareness about epilepsy, and we also need to spread awareness about other things in culture. And so I was wondering if there's any sort of way those things overlap that you felt there's sort of anything that should be addressed, anything that you feel like you want to share.
Yeah. That I want to share in particular, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Like I said, I just think there needs to be way more awareness than there is. So that's why I do this, because I feel like doing a podcast, a lot of people can watch or even just listen and learn more. Like the awareness part is big to me. Like I said, in my culture, there is little to no awareness at all. Like not many people hear about it unless you're in the emergency room and someone's being brought in. But yeah, like when I have seizures and I'm around certain people, they just call the ambulance because they don't know what's going on or nothing.
Yeah.
I think
that way.
you know what? I think I know the question she's asking, and I think I'm gonna ask it in a more blunt way, right? So just forgive
Go
me for
ahead.
this, right?
Go
How
ahead.
do you, what do you, I mean, as a black man, right? Um,
Yes.
do you feel that there's a level of assumption, right? If someone saw you having a seizure in public, where it's not actually a personal affliction, where it may actually be someone just deducing the fact that maybe you're on drugs or you're drunk or whatever. Is that something that concerns you or bothers you?
It kind of bothers me because I've been there. I've been there when the cops show up and they're ready to put me in cuffs and stuff, and has to be someone else there. Is like, this is going on, this is going on. And then he's like, oh no, but he's doing this. He shouldn't have his shirt off. He's taking his clothes off in the store and stuff. But yeah.
I mean, I've faced it as well as like a 25-year-old white guy. Like they Narcaned me the first time I had a seizure. They thought I was overdosing on heroin. And even my roommate was like telling them, no, like he didn't take anything. They still Narcaned me. And it like brought me back, and apparently I started fighting them, and they gave me ketamine and put me into the worst K-hole of my life. Like I woke up in the hospital thinking I had been shot. I was in limbo. I didn't know what was going on.
Oh.
No, I think, I mean, a lot of people just don't know what's going on. That's the thing that sucks about seizures is like, it could be anything causing it. It could be drugs. You could just hit your head and have the seizure. It could be, I just learned that hormones are.
It could be the lights also.
It could be the lights. It could be anything.
Catamenials, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's fortunately that way, where like even myself, people would assume I'm on drugs or something like that if I'm having a seizure. But I definitely understand the idea of like people looking at someone different race or something like that and assuming off the bat that it's not epilepsy. It's they brought them on the self almost.
Yeah.
No, that's that's unfortunately the world that we live in nowadays, right?
Yeah.
That's just how it goes. Automatically, we still, even in 2024, right? Or 2025, I should say. That might have been a little Lamictal thing.
Yeah, we got you, man.
You still have to worry about like those sort of things, which is a shame, right? It really is, but and that it goes back to the fact where I said like I it's not something I think you need to be ashamed of. I think it's something that you need to be expressive about.
Oh, I'll be back in a second.
Yeah.
I think it makes it more important to have these conversations to show to the world that most of the time it's not people on drugs. Like we're not doing this to ourselves.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
yeah,
it's not something
I mean, the paramedics were absolutely positive first 3 times that I had taken some, even though my husband is there going, no, she didn't. She stopped breathing. Please.
I'm 6 feet.
And I don't think I helped myself that I said, I didn't have a seizure. I'm fine. I need to go back to sleep. I have work tomorrow. And I rolled over and tried to go back to sleep. That does not help my case, I don't think.
I mean, I'm 6 feet tall. I weigh 120 pounds. So that might be another factor that people kind of assume, like maybe he does take drugs, meth, anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just learned last night, I spoke with one of my mom's friends who's been having seizures for 45 years. And she said they're hormonal based. And the first time I got my MRI scan, they found a cyst in my brain that pushes on your pituitary gland and could cause hormonal bounces. Like, oh no, that's not the reason for the seizures. But at the same time, it's like, how can you just discard that completely as the reason when hormones are greatly influence seizures?
I tell you what, I like that gaming chair you got there.
Thank you.
Really cool.
My brother got it before he went to the military for me.
I'm a fan. I like it.
Like a nice one.
I got one I bought a gaming chair for work, for working home because they're fantastic.
So comfortable. Yeah.
Oh my god, they're great. They're great.
Leather.
Nice.
I should go steal my sons out of the other room here. Actually, both of my sons that are not here right now, their gaming chairs are within like 20 feet. I could go grab them. Be more comfortable.
Good mom.
Since, can I throw something out there since we're talking about, marginalization in one way or another, about have any of you experienced the negative reaction from religious individuals regarding your epilepsy?
But I've read some people saying like, oh, it's because
God's putting you
the
through a
devil.
trial.
A demon
Oh, the
possession
devil.
kind of thing. You need an exorcism. Yeah.
I've been prayed over and stuff like that, and in the prayer they're like, I hope this stops for you one day and stuff like that, and I'm like, you're praying for things that aren't gonna stop. This
Yeah.
I mean, they wouldn't be happening.
I let them finish praying though. I'm like, thanks for the prayer, but
Right. Or being told that it was your
it makes
fault
you feel
because
better. Go ahead and pray.
It was my relationship with God that caused, or the lack thereof, that caused my epilepsy. And I'm like, well, no, but yeah, I've experienced that. So I was just wondering, because that's just another marginalization, in culture.
Like, no, that's science. It's your body.
Yeah, it's like, no, I can actually show you videos and the EEG to go with it.
Just throw the EEG machine on there and show it to them. Like, yeah, it's not some spiritual thing doing this to me. It is clearly.
Well, if it hadn't happened to me in the California Bay Area when I was 44, if it happened to me back where I was born in the Appalachian Mountains, we might have a different scenario going on.
Yeah,
that would have been horrible.
But instead of go to UCSF Medical Center and get
Release this child with the demons in her.
Yep.
I will say one thing though, even without that, like the way epilepsy I think is kind of talked about, I thought it was my fault, and I still kind of feel like it's my fault that I have these seizures. Like part of me is like, I need to make changes in my life because I'm doing something that's causing these seizures. And I'm not taking hard drugs. I smoke some weed. I barely drink alcohol, and I put a Zyn pouch in my lip every now and then. Is that like, I don't know. But like, it's not my fault, but I still blame myself for it at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think it's our fault. It's like, because you can take your meds and you can do everything you're supposed to do, and it's gonna happen. That's what I feel like. It's like taking the meds. It's just, I guess it's taking your meds might stop it from happening so much. But I feel like I've been on my meds. I've ate right. I've slept right, and still have a seizure.
Yeah. What are you saying, Iman?
For a while, it was my fault because they started popping up after drinking, but I stopped drinking for over a year, and then they just started going unprovoked. And it was like, okay, cool.
Yeah. But even then, it's like, how many people drink way more than you were and not have seizures and stuff like that? Like, it's still not your fault. It's just
now I'm like, okay, this probably was going to happen at some stage.
It was already happening. Yeah. It just happened to be happening, and you were like numbing it down.
Yeah.
It was already happening, bro. And but don't blame yourself, my friend. It was there. But and this is, if you had heart disease, would you be blaming yourself for that heart disease? This is a culture.
It's like part of the brain chemistry that happens post-ictal is the guilt, right? You have guilt. Even if you didn't do anything, I will start sobbing and crying and apologizing before it even happens.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm
begging for forgiveness before I've even had a seizure or done anything.
That's how they know I'm having one.
I was reading something.
It's like, oh God, no.
I read something where someone said they felt like a burden. And
I always feel like a burden. Holy crap.
I try not to feel like that because it'll consume
you. It drags you down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Well, I was the breadwinner. I was the head of household. I have 5 kids. My husband is brain damaged, and he's got glaucoma and ADHD. And so he actually said, when I got sick, he said, I thought you were invincible. And I was like, I did too. Stop it.
Yeah,
I was.
That's a difficult thing too. I'm a single father of 2 daughters, and the expectation is I'm here to protect, which I am, right? But being vulnerable in that sense of I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
And I have my own stuff to deal with. I bottle a lot of it up. And, you know, for men too, it's difficult. Like
Sure.
there's a certain expectation for us, right? Especially as a father. And I was a husband at the time too, where, we have a certain obligation and it bottles up for a while. And, to me, it was like a volcano erupting at one point where it was
Yeah.
just like, there's only so much I could take as an individual, no matter how you see me and whatever. And my girls are well aware of the fact that I have epilepsy, and to a degree, they still see me as invincible.
Mhm.
But it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to understand that we're all human beings and we all have our own issues to deal with, and that's been a difficult thing for me since my diagnosis, was being more vulnerable about what I go through on a day-to-day basis. And more and more it comes with experience, it comes with time, where you have to just open up. You're a human being and that's just how it is. We're not perfect. Even if we didn't have epilepsy, we're not perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Great.
but well, to answer the religious question, which is interesting though too, because my kids go to Catholic school. I do go to church. I'm not like a heavy church goer, but it's always about God's plan. Well, God's plan is to have a single father with a level of affliction with two daughters to take care of. Like, I don't know. It's
Dude,
sort of like,
oh my God.
yeah, it's sort of like it's hard to swallow.
I
It's
hear
hard to
people
chew
say
on that. You know what I mean?
I hear people say that, and so okay, this is unrelated, but I had like a coworker who had a miscarriage, and one of my bosses there had like, I know it was in it was meant in like, there's like care in it, but something along the line of like God's plan in there. I'm like, dude,
I hate that.
What the fuck?
I hate that.
Why the fuck would you say that to a woman who just had a miscarriage?
My grandmother had like 6 in like 8 years because of a doctor's mess up with the child before. And
yeah,
I would never tell somebody that. That is the worst.
God's plan. It's like, I don't like your God. I don't like your God.
really quick. Mine started after my mom in 2023 got hit by a drunk driver. She had just bought a trike, a Harley trike, and it was her first ride out. Her and her husband went to go get a cup or a scoop of ice cream and got hit about 45 miles per hour. He hit and ran, just left them on the road. She broke 3 vertebrae, 8 ribs. I became like a full-time caregiver for them. And a year after the accident is when my first aura happened, when I was driving home from their place. And a month later, the day after her wedding, actually, she was still in her back brace on her wedding day. I had a seizure, my first grand mal the day after.
Dude.
And like, yeah, it sucks. It sucks. But then people try to tell me like, it's God's plan. And I mean no disrespect to anyone, but the only response I can give is fuck God. Because my mom is like the most important person in my life.
Yeah.
Like I would die for my mother. Like she's given me everything. And what I watched her go through, we actually Thursday was the sentencing for the guy who hit them. And he got the max sentence, 9.5 years in prison. It was his 11th OVI conviction. But conviction, his rap sheet was over 41 pages long.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
They get no
sorry.
money back though. They lost over $50,000 in terms of legal fees and hospital bills, and they can't take him civilly to court. But yeah, when people say like it's God's plan, like no. I'm sorry. Like God needs to figure out a better plan, because he can make me go through a tough trial without almost destroying my family completely.
That's no way to promote a religion either. It's
right.
Like you can believe in about God, and I don't know, maybe there is like someone who made all of this is like the answer, but it's just like, I don't think he has a particular plan that's working out very well right now.
And if I'm being punished for something, tell me what I'm being punished for. Like, I would at least like to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah. I'd really like to know.
It's
No,
kind
you
of
know,
man.
no, I want to know
Go
what
out.
they think it is. I don't need to know. I need to know what they think it is.
Yeah. Have you ever seen one on camera of you?
Yes.
I've operated a camera.
Of me? No.
Oh,
I've seen patients have one, and it's like, oh fuck.
So my in hospital EEG, you know, they record all of them, right? And he said some people ask for them, most people don't. If you think you can handle it,
I don't want to fucking
go ahead.
do that.
He said I would have to see it if it was me, and I was like, I have to anyway. But that was nothing compared to the one in my kitchen. We had a camera in the
security
kitchen.
video,
and I did the whole Japanese ghost thing where I was like, well, I was like feeding the animals and getting everything ready in the morning and wandering around. Everybody else was sleeping. And then I got back to the refrigerator and all of a sudden I had a bad aura and I leaned my head against the freezer. And then on the camera, I put my head all the way back, opened my mouth all the way open and started screaming. Apparently I can't hear it on camera, but my husband comes running into frame and grabs me and, you know, yanks me out. It was pretty, it looked like a Japanese ghost video. It really did. Terrifying.
That sounds honestly kind of badass.
I mean, it does kind of sound badass a little bit. But
when you don't remember any of it, it's like,
no, that
you remember feeling a little weird and leaning your head on the freezer, and then a second later, you do this insane thing.
Right?
I can see why they think we're possessed.
I have to ask him if he can find the video so I can put it up for you guys because it's pretty good.
Something you mentioned though has been like
the craziest place you woke up in.
The Golden Gate Bridge with my husband driving across it, having a seizure.
Hospital 5 days after the car crash.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst place I woke up in was someone else's home.
Yeah. I haven't done that yet.
I've done it twice.
But what you mentioned is kind of like the scariest part of the seizures for me is the fact that like 1 second you're just doing something normal and then the very next second you could be completely somewhere else, or like it just doesn't, it's hard to wrap my head around like because I can distinctly remember like what I was doing and then all of a sudden I'm waking up in the car getting driven to the hospital, or I'm waking up in my bathroom on the floor or something like that, but I wasn't even in my house at the time. Like I don't even know. It's just that's the scariest part to me.
And it's like it shouldn't be, but it feels embarrassing to me because it's like I have no way of knowing what just happened. I had no way of knowing if I was like doing inappropriate shit to people around me. Or like
I always ask and they always get annoyed. Right? You ask people, what were you doing? Right? Yeah. Do they get annoyed with you if you ask what you were doing?
No.
Yeah, sometimes. People keep asking, people sit next to you and they're like, what's going on? And I'll be like, did I just miss something what did I miss? I'm like, I didn't see myself miss anything. And they're like, oh no, you jump in or you sound like something, made eye contact and something. And I'd be like, I don't know what you've seen, but that 3 seconds that I missed, I guess.
I need you to tell me about. Yeah.
I know. I can't stand it. And they don't want to. They're just like, it's boring. Why? You screamed again.
Yeah. Or when the epileptologist asks me, it's like, how do you expect me to know what happened when I'm alone? I don't know what happened. I lost an entire afternoon. That's all I know. And I needed emergency dentistry. So, yeah, I don't know what happened. You know, and that's the thing. It's like, but when people freak out, when you ask them, it's like, well, what did you see? I mean, why do they expect us to know?
No, even my own son, around 16-year-old is like, leave me alone about it, Mom. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And it's like with the ambulance, I hate with the waking up to all the questions.
Oh. Yep.
The questions are the worst. Like, just give me a second. I keep telling you, no, I don't remember. And then, you know what happened, you know?
Drop me off here. I know I'm about to pay you guys way too much for this.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The craziest place, I mean, I think the craziest situation I've been in, I think I said it earlier, is where I was taking a selfie and the train pulled off and I was supposed to be getting on the train. That was the second craziest situation.
I once had one during class, and I just woke up throwing up into the trash can outside of class, and I just like sat outside because I'd throw up on my shirt and stuff. I didn't know how like I didn't really know what was going on, so I just kind of sat there waiting for class to be over. And then my teacher actually came out to me after class and found me in the hallway, and he's like, "Hey, you didn't come back into class. I just want to make sure everything's okay." And he walked me across campus and just talked with me. I explained I had epilepsy, but it was weird. He just told me like I got up all of a sudden, like had a panic look on my face, and just ran out the door. And I literally don't remember any of that. Just yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the seizure that I seen myself have on cameras, because I have a camera in my bedroom. My last one, I seen it and I was just like, it was bad. I was in a blanket and I was doing like this, but I was shaking for like 45 seconds. And no one knew. But my sister, her room was like, on my bed, I could see straight out of the door. And she was right there and she was just like, why are you looking like that? And then when she came over and I started like screaming and started going into it, she was like, okay, I see what's going on. Let me call the ambulance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have all my my CDs from my EMUs. I've had probably a dozen over the years. And it's for me, you know, I've got that scientific mind. That's what I was going to be doing anyway, you know. I every now and then I'll do a comparison and I'll see how they've changed. And the last time I did it was about 6 months ago, because they thought they caught something on a video during an office visit. And I chuckled. I'm like, I don't know what you're calling that, but yeah, I did break my neck again, but we won't talk about that. But you know, it's like, you know, but looking at all of the progression of the seizures, yeah, that was weird, but it's really weird to watch myself have them. And the last one, that was the worst. But yeah.
Let's address the elephant in the room real quick, because I'm curious about this, because there's some women in the room now, and I want to hear about this. What about sex life?
Yeah. Now, last time, I'm not even dating anymore because of it. Orgasm can bring on a seizure. I've had it happen. And, you know, a lot of stories about that I didn't know until, you know, later, that somebody was taking advantage of the seizures during those times. But, you know, that's why I'm not dating anymore. You know, it's like, no, I cannot trust anybody with me at my most vulnerable point.
I'm very sorry to hear that. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Oh, you wanted to, yeah.
That's excruciatingly disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm so
I
sorry.
appreciate that.
The purpose of my question was more related to like having epilepsy and the medicine we take, as opposed to, but those scenarios is just that's fucking ridiculous. I mean, that's aggravating to me to hear that.
Yeah, and that makes it hard for me to tell people I have epilepsy, you know,
Of
and it's
course.
like, yeah.
Yeah, it makes you vulnerable.
Well, it does. It makes us all vulnerable.
Well, I mean, we're at our most vulnerable point at that point, right? I mean, there's no other, there's nothing else in this life that's any more vulnerable than that, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
right. I have to be able to trust every person around me to protect me and not create an opportunity for another agenda.
Take advantage of you.
Right. Right.
It's hard to trust people for some reason. It's got harder to trust people just with me. I think it's just like, I don't think I trust being around you personally without anyone. Some people like that. You ever get that? Like, with this condition, I don't trust you and me alone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my concern is more about like the level of comfort and not being able to perform, right? Let's be honest, right? With someone who you don't have that level of comfort with, who understands that because of this, there are instances where it just may not happen. It's just not, it may not work, right? So to speak.
I mean, I'm trying to lower the meds just because I'm trying to get like a sex drive back for the marriage.
Yeah.
I can definitely tell that medication.
No, it's an important part. It's an important part of a relationship, obviously, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And
I've been wanting to do it for a while.
There's a lot of people, and I've read about this too. There's a lot of people who will stop taking their medicines strictly for that reason.
No.
Just to be able to gain back that, that.
You know what?
To want to do it. You know what I mean? Like
if he would act like he was attracted to me and do it, then I might actually go off the medicine, even though I know it would be dangerous as shit for me.
No, I can't. No, I would be dead. I
probably would too, but he only it was like 10 years between the time that our last time and then I got my diagnosis, and then he actually was okay to have sex with me because he was scared he was going to lose me, I guess. And then it's 5 years now. And don't think that I am not attracted to him. I am. He's just like got this weird thing where he's about, it's for having kids, or he's worried the kids will walk in, or maybe it's because of his ADHD and his brain surgery. I don't know.
Yeah, I've had.
I really wish it was better. Truly.
And stuff. I mean, I never really thought about it. I dated a guy before I was diagnosed who had epilepsy, and I know he didn't have any dysfunction, but he did every now and then have a focal seizure, and I recognized it. And there were a couple times when it's like, whoa, dude, I don't know who you were for that moment, but you know what I mean? But he never had any sexual dysfunction. I never considered that for you guys. So medication really affects you as a man.
Yeah, I don't. So for me personally, like, I don't think it doesn't. I don't think it physically affects me.
I think it's like, oh, go ahead.
I can. It's more of like I said, like a mental thing, right? Of the worry about not being able to perform, so to speak, right? So I actually, like, my doctor prescribes me I if I know that I'm gonna have someone I'm dating come up, like, I'll take Cialis, like, I'll do it, like, because I just even if I'm mentally and emotionally not there, at least physically I can do what I need to do to try to please my partner. But at the end of the day, it doesn't satisfy me, and that's a hard thing to battle. You know what I mean? Like, it's very, very difficult. It's trying, because that's supposed to be like a mutual thing between people, right? It's supposed to be, like I said, we talked about, like, it's that level of intimacy is like, that's as high as it gets, right? And invulnerability, right? So, especially for someone like myself who's like single and like I'm trying to meet women and do, and be able to start a new life, and having that be like a very, very important part of that. Like, it worries me that, like, if I don't take something to be able to at least perform physically, like, they're gonna run away from me, which they probably will, and which I understand, but it's hard to, like, get that balance between both. and that's definitely a challenge for me in terms of dating and sexual relationships for sure.
Yeah, with me, it's like the pills. They kind of just, I don't know. I don't have the urge for sex, and it made someone feel like I just didn't want her. And it's more like I don't necessarily think about it. She would be like, "Oh, when you drink, you think about it." So I know what she was thinking when she go get alcohol. Just like sometimes I don't want alcohol. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood. Sometimes it could be weeks. Living together and going for weeks. Feeling like that.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even attempted to date anyone since being diagnosed. I'm honestly afraid to get into a relationship because I just, at a young age, I also just don't think many people my age or understand like what it's gonna be like to date me or to be with me. I just don't want to put someone through that pressure as well. Like, I don't think I've really been around someone while I'm having a grand mal. I think my roommate is the only person, but I don't even think he found me until after I was like done convulsing. And I'm kind of just afraid to put someone through that. Like when I had my car crash, I had just dropped my friends off at the airport and was driving home. So it was 10 minutes earlier, like all three of us could have, yeah. But I just have almost no, I have a desire. I'm definitely like lonely. I will admit that. I admitted it to my therapist, but it's like at the same time, I just don't want to put that on someone. It's not worth it.
Gotcha. Like I've had two during sex, and one she didn't notice. Yeah, but it's
So
like
I guess
like when you, well, not I guess. When you start a seizure, you ejaculate, and since I was laying on my back, it wasn't noticeable. It was just like, all right,
we're done. Oh,
you guys know your triggers yet? Anybody?
Oh yeah. Wait a second here.
Sleep,
Where's dog?
alcohol, stress.
Sorry. Sorry, everybody. I'm asking where my dog went.
Stress is my trigger. For sure. Money was a big issue because after my second seizure, me and my family were thinking about filing for bankruptcy for me just to help out with the debt. And so I was just struggling with money for about a year, and that was pretty much the main source of my seizures.
Yeah, I went on California medical leave for, I think they only cover you for 9 months. And my doctor didn't want me to go back. I had to actually write a letter and sign it saying that I was going back to work against his wishes. And so that's in my medical file. And then I don't remember how long I worked before it got so bad I had to do it again. I had to go in California. I think it was about 12 months, maybe. But I was having seizures that whole time. The only time, I mean, the longest I've gone is like 3 months, right? So, yeah. And then finally, I had to go on actual disability, and my doctor was like, yes, there's no way around this. Even if you go and do brain surgery, you're going to be on meds for the rest of your life. You're always going to have seizures. So you're not going to do your job anymore. It's really hard to decorate ice cream cakes when you're trying not to have a seizure, or like carry 50-pound cans of ice cream, or go into a walk-in freezer and try not to pass out and hit the concrete floor with your head.
Or a shelf or whatever. Oh yeah.
That's a good point you bring up. And a question I wanted to ask everybody is that has the discussion ever taken place with your doctors about surgery as opposed to medicine?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Pretty much. Almost from the start, just because he's like, you're so medication resistant. And that was, I mean, 12 meds ago or more.
Yeah, I went to
Baltimore. It's a teaching hospital. If it's a teaching hospital, they always want to do surgery.
No, not here.
No? Really?
Can someone explain auras to me?
Auras. Anybody?
Oh, I would love. I mean, so that's the main like seizure I get. I just learned that they are seizures. I talked about them a little bit. I basically like just dissociate. I get a really bad ringing in my ear, and it feels like a panic attack is coming on. I have smell, a metallic smell, and that's how I know it's coming on. Actually, is the metallic smell I get, and sometimes I can actually fight them off if I like really like clench my fist, take a deep breath, and just really try to bring myself back down to earth. I can stop them, but it's a metallic smell. The most a panic attack that just comes on so sudden for
Does
nothing.
it feel like your heart, like your heart is being squished?
Yes,
Yes.
something is just
Yes.
And it doesn't last too long for me. My auras don't last very long, but they are seizures. They're actual seizures that
they are. Auras are seizures. That is what my doctor said as well.
Yeah.
He said if you're having an aura, you're already having a seizure. It might not go all the way across your brain and turn into a grand mal or TC or whatever, but you're already seizing. Just accept it. Go ahead and take a pill, a rescue pill. And do like you're saying, clench, try to breathe, think good thoughts, do all the things they tell you. Yeah.
It happened to me before.
Happy place.
You guys can see I'm hooked up, right? I'm on an EEG right now for the next couple of days. As soon as I got home,
I saw that you're on the EEG. I recognized that.
I went early this morning, and as soon as I got home, same thing. I sat down, and I got this level of panic that came above me, right? But what I would say, similar to everybody has a way. Like mine is, I jump off the couch or I jump out of bed, and then it goes away. Like as soon as I feel it, I jump right up, and then it goes away, right? So I'm hoping, because I pressed the button and I also put it on my log, that they'll see it and they'll recognize it as something, right? When they pull all the data off the machine. So, but yeah, that's my experience with auras as well. Mine is a level of anxiety that just hits above you. It's not so much that my heart like pounds. It's just like that, the feeling that starts in the pit of your stomach and comes up to your throat, right?
Yeah.
And I just jump. I jump off of what I'm doing, and then that's sort of just like that sort of satiates it. Like just quick movement. As soon as it happens, like gets rid of it.
Did you ever get tunnel vision in one of your auras? Yeah, that or that like my
watery, watery vision.
Oh yes. Yeah, as you're walking,
I just had a real bad
vision is getting farther away as every step closer. It's like I hate those. Yep.
Visual auras are terrible. And scent auras are awful too. Like you were saying, you've got the one that's metallic. Occasionally I've had that. I've had roses, which was kind of nice, but then a second later I was unconscious. So, oh shoot. What are some of the other things? Burnt tires.
That scares me because I know like burnt toast is when you're having a
burnt
stroke.
Toast.
Burnt toast.
Burnt toast. I've had that, and that did scare me. And then coffee, burnt coffee.
I don't know. Does caffeine trigger anybody?
I stopped drinking caffeine after my seizure.
I mean, if I have like a lot of it, then it can
It lowers your threshold.
Mm-hmm. I try to just moderate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I enjoy the taste of coffee too much.
Oh God, I love coffee.
I love coffee. And my last ambulatory that I had, the ambulatory EEG, I told the doctor I was going to drink coffee the way I wanted to. And I did. And they could see by the end of the day, all of I have a spike wave because I have deep brain seizures that don't show up on the scalp EEGs. But other than that pattern, and I'm like, okay, so it made that worse, huh? Yeah, it did. Yeah, it does. It does affect me. I have had seizures from having too much caffeine. So, okay, I'll go half calf, or
I'll buy decaf coffee just Just because I enjoy the taste of coffee. Period.
I'm with you. I'm the same way. I'll drink half calf in the morning. What I'm actually doing is I'm actually drinking like a moderate amount. I'm having some wine, right? Because alcohol is a trigger for me as well. So I want to be able to see tomorrow what exactly it looks like. Now, I'm not sitting here getting drunk off my face, right? I'm just
Right.
I'm having a couple of glasses of wine, controlled. I'm not, but I want to see if it impacts me tomorrow and if we can catch it, just to see what it looks like because a lot of the times that's when it happens for me. I went to a wedding about a month and a half ago and I got lost in a moment. I had a great time and I drank a little bit too much. And the day after, I had a pretty significant one, right? So I definitely know that alcohol is one of my triggers, and it's sort of like, because I want to be able to live my life and enjoy myself. Like, what's my cutoff point? What's the cutoff point for me?
I'm
Like,
literally going to the bar after this.
two
to go
glasses,
play
two
darts.
glasses of wine. If I'm gonna have a bad one tomorrow, then I'm only gonna have one glass of wine. You know what I mean? Like,
And now's the time to find out too, right?
right.
We're doing our
I'm
EEG.
I'm home. I'm in a controlled environment, right? I'm not going nowhere. So that's basically been my experiment for the day was sort of like I'm gonna have two glasses of wine, two nice sized glasses of wine today. I'm not drunk by any stretch of the imagination. I'm perfectly fine. But how is that going to impact me tomorrow, as opposed to when I know I have gone overboard and I know I have felt a certain way? This way, I know what my cutoff point is. If I want to, this way I can still live a normal life, and maybe I can only have like a half a bourbon as opposed to a whole bourbon when I go.
Right.
This way, I know. This way, it doesn't completely impact, or does it make me worried about behaving in a certain way, right? I want to be, like I said, I want to be able to live my life in a comfortable way, but also understand that I need to control myself in a certain way. And like, what's what's the threshold and what's the breaking point for me? So that's the experiment that I'm currently doing right now.
Good.
I've
Make sure you lock that.
I've never gone to do an EEG before. Like I was supposed to do an EEG test, showed up to it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we don't do the EEG tests here. This was just like a checkup appointment." And I swear I'd called them before and like even asked the receptionist, but never gotten EEG. So they don't even know if it's the non-epileptic psychogenic seizures or if it's actually like something going on in my brain. But no idea. It's gotta, I get auras and stuff like that. I feel like it's gotta be actual.
Oh, you have pretty solid sounding auras to me.
Yeah, I get like clear signs.
As someone who has, actual brain damage that
caused it. I seriously thought like I was just having panic attacks every day and stuff, but no, it took me almost a year to realize.
When I was 20, I would have said, yeah, I'm just having panic attacks every day, because there were points in time where I did.
Yeah.
My father passed away from brain cancer at 49 when I was 22 years old. So I know what you're talking about, where you're like, your mother is injured and then all of a sudden you start having problems.
Yeah, it's like
I've been there.
Probably might be PTSD, like who knows.
So it's hard to tell. And if they're not ordering the tests for you.
Well, that's why I was so happy to talk to my friend the other day, is because now I can go to my neurologist and say, hey, let's look at my pineal or pituitary gland again and see if it's a hormonal issue.
Look at everything. Yeah. How else are they going to know? Yeah. Honestly. There's a whole lot of things they can do. There's some blood tests they can do too.
Like they literally told me that like the cyst in my brain is pushing against my pituitary gland, which is probably why I look like 18 years old at 25. And they never actually said, hormones do influence seizures, so let's take a peek. He just said, probably not the issue. Moved on.
Could be. Maybe they need to be giving you some additional hormone therapy. Who knows?
Yeah. Plus, you can get a second opinion more than once.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, I had about negative $4,000 to my name at that point. I could not afford a second opinion.
Yeah.
I just got my tax return back. I finally have money in my savings account.
I got
$100 sitting in there.
I got $100. I know, me too. I got $140.
I fucking hate it.
And I got to order my cannabis magic. So, that's
I got you.
Yeah.
No, I really
my
showed one of my coworkers my bank account today because I was so excited to have money in it for once. Like, oh my god.
So,
Yeah.
I read something recently that said there was a question. It asked, is there anything to use after you chew your tongue up if your tongue is hurting 2 weeks after?
Please, holy shit.
I'm the peroxide queen. Okay.
That's what I would say too.
The hydrogen peroxide. Read the bottle. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
It's been a really long time since I've had a ton of clinics, so I can't remember. I just dealt with it for the week.
Oh man, it's a miserable week and a half though. Like,
yeah.
Like, hey, do you want to go out for food? Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go out to Cheddar's. I'm like, okay. And just fucking sit there and eat.
Yeah.
You're just like, you're there, but you're not.
Just don't give me Doritos, okay?
Oh God, no.
But no, I use peroxide. I had a really bad laceration on my tongue once, and I went to my dentist, and he sent me to a special surgeon, and that's how bad my tongue was. And they had me use just a flush of peroxide and water.
Yep.
And they said, just do this all the time because it reduces the swelling. It reduces anything that needs to come off, so you're not chewing on it, you know, and it heals it up so fast. And I just did it again the other night, and I'm like, oh, geez, you know, here we go.
That's what they have you do if you have braces and you have a lot of scar tissue on the inside of your mouth too. That was why I knew what to do.
Yeah,
having braces
is
like 12 or whatever.
Yeah, as much as I hate it, it works, and it works.
It does.
So,
it tastes awful, you're right, but
it does. But you know, you can
it's
rinse
worth
it out, but it works. And you know, I've done all of it. I've done Ambisol, I've done clove oil, I've done biotin, I've done all of it. Nothing beats peroxide, and it fits our budget. Okay.
Does peroxide like take the pain away, or is it just?
Yeah, it does. For me, it does. It stings for a second, but then it goes numb because it like closes off all of that swelling. And I don't know exactly how it works, but I know the swelling goes down almost instantly. It stings like a bitch, just for a few seconds though. So, you know, to me, it's worth it because like I said, I tried everything. And I'm not going to spend $20 on a bottle of mouthwash that doesn't work for me. You know, I'll spend $1 on a bottle of peroxide that will last me a year. You know, so but yeah, it does sting. It's uncomfortable. It tastes awful. And you can rinse out with salt water after, or just plain water. But you're not going to be biting your tongue because it's not as swollen. And that's the first thing you want to do is get rid of that swelling. And that's what it does. So, and it also gets rid of any junk in there. So you don't get an abscess